Welcome back to Talvontalks, where growth is inevitable without life experiences, knowledge, and understanding. Today, I am going to be continuing to read the Black Businesses Handbook. For those of you who follow me, you are already familiar with this book. For those of you who are just joining, it's just a historical celebration of black businesses in all around, but more majority based out of Georgia. And I don't want to just say just historical celebration, but it's the historical celebration of black businesses. And most of these individuals have some type of ties to Georgia. But like I said, they are really all around. This book talks about many things, but a lot of them are based out of the Georgia correlation, and their honorable chairpersons. And today I wanted to continue reading into our handbook and going over the legacy of Dr. Booker T. Washington. Okay, so yes, today we are going to go over Dr. Booker T. Washington, and I'm going to read a little bit of his legacy and then a little bit of his lifespan and the actual accomplishments on each of those years. The National Business League was created by Dr. Booker T. Washington in 1900 in Baltimore, Maryland. 12 years later, President Roosevelt summoned Dr. Washington to Washington, D.C., where he framed out the U.S. Chamber of Commerce based on the legacy model. The Atlanta Business League charter was organized in 1933. The National Business League is the oldest business association in the United States. The Centennial Memorial of Booker T. Washington, and this is going to be its history. On November 14, 2015 AD, 100 years will have passed after the death of the former slave who founded and built Tuskegee's Institute, the John A. Andrew Memorial Hospital, and 5,300 Rosenwald schools and and auxiliary buildings in 15 American southern states. Booker T. Washington was most people were not aware. Booker T. Washington built in conjunction with Julius Roswell those schools. So most people are not aware of the Rosenwald schools that Booker T. Washington built in conjunction with Julius. And the Roswell Foundation is what they founded on. However, there was much about the significant legacy of Booker T. Washington that must be discovered and applied in the 21st century. Even after 100 years after his death, there is still great value in the exploration of the Booker T. Washington's legacy. And the only reason why I'm going over these, just to reiterate from previously, I'm going over these legends. I'm going over the legacy of these individuals who had a great deal and played a huge part into laying the foundation for what we now stand on, laying the foundation for which we now learn on, laying the foundation for which we now are able to tangibly do certain things, are capable of doing certain things, because before there were a time to where we were not able to tangibly vote. We were not able to be capable of doing certain things that we're now capable of doing, our own businesses, our own freedom, so much that we were not able to do. Booker T. Washington was in fact a slave. However, most of his endeavors didn't proclaim until 100 years after his death. So this is just the reason why it is important for us to know our history. Is it important for us to know where we've come from, what we were able to do, and what we're able to do even now. Before we were limited before, and now we're able to do so much. And it just uh, it just puts you in a headspace of, if I can do it, why am I not doing it? Like, just to be brutally honest, we have to push ourselves to do more for not only us but for our ancestors, the people who came before us, and for our next generation, the people that are here and that are going to be here after us. And it's important for us to showcase these things for the next generation, because those are the people that's going to be living the life to lay the land for your next generation, your grandchildren, your children, your cousins, your nieces, their kids, and that's very important. I'm going to go into detail to his chronological chron, chron chronology. Excuse me, between my lisp and everything else, sometimes pronouncing words. But excuse me. Yes, I'm going to go into a brief chronology of the life of Booker T. Washington. 1856, born a slave on James Burrow Plantation, April 5th, near Hales Ford, Virginia. 1872, set out from Malden from Hampton Institute, a distance of 500 miles, with only $1.50 in his pocket. And that was a lot then, but that's definitely probably still wasn't much. I mean, not probably. That was a lot of money then, but it still wasn't enough to just leave and make a whole life of something from $1.50. So he had to do something to even get to the end of his life where he was able to do so many things. 1875, graduated from Hampton Institute, returned to Malden, West Virginia, to teach at the school he attended. 1878, entered Wayland Seminary, Washington, D.C. 1879, gave a speech at Hampton Institute, The Force That Wins. So, really, people never know what they can use this for. You can come on my channel and just get, maybe you got a book report, your child has a book report, come on and get a little bit of pre-notes, on Booker T. Washington. You never know. So, if you have a student that's, have a lot of book reports on cultural history, feel free to come here. Try to, skip a little bit ahead of your research. That way, even when you're doing more of your research, you'll know a little bit more and won't be just starting off from scratch. Because when I'm learning, when you're learning, I'm learning as well, because some of these things I didn't know either. And it just helps me continue to be motivated and continue to strive to get where I am going to be and get there even quicker. That way I can go ahead and bring some people along the way. When you learn, you definitely should pass those things on. So, reiterating, 1878, entered Wayland Seminary, Washington, D.C., gave a speech at Hampton Institute, The Force That Wins, 1879. Now, 1881, opened Tuskegee's normal school for colored youth with 30 students in Butler's Chapel AMEZ Church. So they only started with 30 students, but however, he created his own school for coloreds. And of course, those probably were the first schools until they branched into the Roswell schools, in which he conjunction with Julius on those to create more of those schools. You see that there was 5,300. So this is where he started off, just in the church or whatever like that. So we all have to start somewhere. I'm reading his chronology, but if I didn't commentate, if I didn't just give you a little bit of my opinion and talk along the way, what would it be for? You can read about Booker T. Washington yourself, so I'd like to at least kind of give you a little bit more along the way. 1883, completed the first permanent structure on campus, Portal Hall, combination dormitory, chapel, classrooms, and office. 1892, organized Phelps Hall Bible Training School. 1892, wrote articles, Needs of Negro Ministry of the South. So all I'm seeing here, guys, is accomplishment after accomplishment after accomplishment. Once you do one thing, go ahead and continue to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. They will open up opportunities and doors for you, because I know from experience. Just going ahead and doing my craft, doing what I love doing, the networking, speaking to people, all those creates opportunity to open up doors to where you can go ahead and be on a path as such. 1895, delivered the famous Atlanta exposition address on September 18th. Cast down your buckets where you are. 1896, George Washington Carver joined the staff at Tuskegee. 900, organized the National Negro Business League in Boston, Massachusetts. 1901, Up from Slavery, published by Doubleday and Company. 1902, established Negro community known as Greenwood. 1906, erected Tuskegee Institute Chapel on campus, published Putting the Most into Life. 1907, 1909, 1911, 1912, published Life of Frederick Douglass, published The Story of the Negro, published My Larger Education, and published The Man Farthest Down. 1913, he began erecting John A. Andrew Memorial Hospital on campus. 1913, built the first of 4,500 Roswell schools at Nostalgia. Yes. 1914, and excuse my pronunciation of some of these words. 1914, organized annual National Negro Health Week in April. 1915, he died at his home on campus at Tuskegee on November 14th. So that man died while working. That is such a powerful chronology, just the boom, 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 just accomplishment after accomplishment. Like I can see, and you should. I don't want to be boastful, or you should see yourself in these legends. You should see yourself. I was getting ready to say, and then I wanted to stop myself. I was getting ready to say, I see myself in him, and then I wanted to stop myself due to it feeling like I'm being boastful, or I'm taking his legacy away from him, or his title away from him, just for seeing some similarities. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to, even though we're speaking of a great legend, you should see yourself in them. I'm not going to take that away from myself by just, I'm not going to not take this selfish moment by saying I don't see similarities in him, because I do see similarities in him, and that is what you should be able to do. And just to explain, I literally was just getting ready to restructure my sentence, because I didn't want it to seem like I was being big-headed or boastful because I was talking about a great icon, but then I wanted to start talking about myself. But I'm not going to do that, because in life, that's what we do. This is why we're here. This is why we're here, to live and learn. This is the reason why I do these videos on my public platform, because literally every day we are living and learning, and you should not dumb down yourself for anyone. And you should always lift up yourself, keep yourself motivated and stuff like that. Yes, sometimes it is a selfish, or comes across selfish. That's the only reason why I wanted to reiterate. It does come across selfish sometimes, just talking about yourself all the time. But I'm going to take just the same way that I read about Dr. Booker T. Washington, and don't be afraid. That's all I'm saying. Don't be afraid to lift yourself up in a positive moment, in a positive environment. That's all that I wanted to say. I got a little bit excited on reading just his legacy, on reading just a lot of things that he did back to back and didn't stop. And that's what we should be striving for. We should be striving for success. We should be striving for the day-to-day grind, the journey. All of that is a part of success. All of those things go hand in hand. Those late nights at work, those moments that you're missing with your families, those dry accounts when your accounts are in the negative, like all that is, it goes into success. If you can take from it, be creative, be innovative, turn it around, and like that's all that we have to do. Take what we have now, be creative, and use it to our advantage. Like, just simple, just simple. I don't want to say any more to deter the direction of this video. It's supposed to be positive. It is positive. We just got done reading about Dr. Booker T. Washington, and all I was just doing is just giving you a little bit more of commentary on just how to be great. If that's anything that I wanted to get out of life, it was just being great. Whether that's sharing a smile with somebody, being positive and uplifting to someone, because someone needs it. Like, mental health, depression is all very, 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 very real, and I cannot stress it enough. But before I go off into detail into any other topic, I'm going to end the video, and thank you for joining. We will be continuing our black businesses. I'm going to close out with my saying, and I'm also going to close out because I said that I was going to read our pledge every time that we're in our book. That way we can go ahead and be motivated as well. And this is the Black Wealth Exhibit pledge. And it's just to be motivated. It's just to be motivated. And if you don't want to say it, at least go over it in your mind and think of it to yourself what it means. So I pledge to seek out wealth building information. I pledge to be more intentional with my consumerism habits. I pledge to support black businesses as much as possible to build an ecosystem. I pledge to purchase a house over the next 2 years. I pledge to increase my net worth by at least 20% over the next year. I pledge to establish at least one additional stream of income over the next year. I pledge to pay down my debt and to devise a debt reduction plan. I did say I was going to go over this, so I don't want to continue to extend the time span on our video, but I am going to go ahead. That way I can stick to my word and the promises that I have been making to my viewers. And I just told them that I was going to go over the pledge just a little bit in detail and just add a little commentary on what each of those means. So I'm going to go through that today. That way that can be off of our list of to-dos, because I definitely have a to-do list when it comes to my channel. There's definitely a lot of things that we should be informed about. The basics. There's plenty of people that don't even know how to read and write. Those are the basics that we as a culture need to know to progress, and I'm just giving those basics here that we can all get a jump start. If there is something that you would love to learn about, and if there's something I can chime in on it, go ahead and make those comments. I will definitely do that. I'm going to go ahead and conclude with a little bit of commentary on what the pledge means. So I pledge to seek out wealth building information. You have to seek out wealth building information, because if you don't, you will not learn how to build wealth, and that's financially, that's when it comes to finding your home, etc. I won't go into too much detail because I really can go into a lot of detail on each and every one of these, but I just wanted to keep it short. I pledge to be more intentional with my consumerism habits. Do you know what that means? Your consumer, where are you spending your money? We should be making sure that we are paying attention to where we're putting our money, because where we're putting our money is where we're eventually going to be, or I don't want to say it like that. I'm just going to put it plain and simple. If you spend your money on something that's not coming back to you, it's like, what's the point? It's like fueling your body. We put food and water. That's the only way I can get across, guys, is my analogies. The only way we can grow is to eat, be fed water and food. So if we are not feeding ourselves water and food, then we're not going to be able to continue living. We're not going to be able to think. We're going to be, our judgments is going to be affected. So we have to learn where our dollar is going, because nowadays our dollar is going to get us to our next dollar. If you know what I'm talking about, like, seriously, make sure that your money is going into an organization that is going to eventually come back to you. And hopefully I am getting across, but it's just, who's consuming your money? Because if someone else is consuming your money that's not that doesn't have you in mind, you're not going to get that dollar back. Just to go into a little bit more detail, if I was putting my money into a stock market, it may grow, it may it may decrease, but at least it's fluctuating. But if you don't put your money in there at all, it's not doing anything. So I would rather put my money into something where something is happening rather than saving a dollar that is in all actuality depreciating. Like if you know about the actual dollar, even if you put it in a bank or put it to the side, it's going to be the dollar actually depreciates. So that means that pretty much if you spend a dollar today, it's not going to mean or have that same value that it would yesterday. So I'm going to get off of that so you don't get misleaded or confused. I pledge to support black businesses as much as possible to build an ecosystem. That is the third pledge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of the 7 pledges that we have. And it goes right back into number 2. Where is your money going to? It's clearly telling you to go ahead and put your money into an ecosystem. An ecosystem does this. Ecosystem can eat off of the same thing. An ecosystem has a recycle. Anything that can be recycled is an ecosystem. So as humans, as we eat our food goes back into our bodies. And I'm thinking about the actual ecosystem of the world right there. The grass is what really what we're supposed to be eating. So the grass is our food, and then the animals are supposed to fertilize the land, and then we're supposed to eat. So it goes down a bracket such as that, but you're not able to create an ecosystem that's one-sided. So if you're giving all of your money away to something that's not coming back to you, it's not an ecosystem. I pledge to purchase a house over the next 2 years. Why do they say that? The reason why you should purchase a house in the next 2 years is because it creates assets, and it creates free money for you. So with the home, you can create an asset that is now a property that belongs to you. You can do what you want on that property. That property will become an asset, which is money. You can take that asset, which is your house, resell it, refurnish it, remodel it, flip it to gain an interest or what they call equity, and that way you are able to gain a profit in all actuality. So those are just a couple of reasons of why you should buy a house in the next 2 years. But they tell you to buy a house in the next 2 years because you want to begin to build yourself by gaining land and gaining assets. So I'm going to go into the next pledge. I pledge to increase my net worth by at least 20% over the next year. So buying a house will definitely increase your net worth, and that's a way to do it. So they're literally creating small goals for you in this book of black businesses. And you're not going to find this book, by the way. This book was given to me by a person that actually wrote it, and this book was not released to the public. And it was released to the public, but it wasn't released to the public to where someone is able to buy this book. This book was released to very powerful and reputable people in DeKalb County, commissioners, chairpersons. So I'm just sharing this information with you Like I said, when I learn, you'll learn. So just to go into the last two pledges and then we can close out. I pledge to establish at least one additional stream of income over the next year. We want to start building multiple streams of income, guys. We want to start building multiple streams of income. I can't say it enough. If this income does not work out, if this job fails, you'll have those two other incomes that you created. Whatever it is, you need to start building multiple streams of income. If you cook, start cooking. Make your money that. If you know how to do hair, if you do makeup, go ahead and start doing those. Even with makeup, you can go ahead and create different things like lines of makeup to where you're now doing makeup. Now you're creating more multiple streams of income by allowing that product that you now put under that same umbrella and that same bracket to make money for you. Now you're selling a product that, yes, you have to be involved in, but it's making money for you. You don't have to actually go out there and do ABC. You have a product that's lying on the website making money for you, when actually you're making money in your sleep. You want to start building multiple streams of income in this manner in order to grow your net worth, which we just went over, and to establish an additional stream of income for the next year. And then you'll start seeing that once you have that down pat, you'll go ahead and you'll be ready just to go ahead and jump onto the next endeavor, whatever that is. The last pledge, and then we can close out. I pledge to pay down my debt and to devise a debt reduction plan. With a reduction plan, you can control your finances better, and if you pay down your debt, you're just creating more money for yourself to save, to invest, to flip, to put into your kids, to put into whatever it is. Okay, so thank you guys for joining. I'm so glad that we went over that. I know it might have seemed like I was rushing a little bit today. I always try to make sure that I am I lost my train of thought. I always like to try to remember to be respectful of your time. I don't like to do those hour and 2 hour videos unless it's really informative, as in the beginning of my videos that I wanted it to be. Now that you have a sense of background on those things, then we can just go ahead and get in and get out, or whatever like that. I can go ahead and give you the information that we need, and I can go ahead and release you. So I am going to feature the NAACP in the next video for our culture history. Thank you again for joining. I'm not going to say anything else before I get off of topic. Hopefully this video wasn't too much all over the place. I happen to be all over the place most of the times, and controlling my energy level. I was just wanted to get this information over to you. So I was just gaining this information with just myself. I like to learn as I'm teaching, so excuse some of the pauses in the beginning of the video and maybe throughout. Again, thank you for joining Talvontalks, where growth is inevitable without the knowledge of life experiences, growth, and understanding. Thank you for joining.